Hey everyone, how's it going? This is gonna be my first video, my first like instructional video, and I just want to make it really simple and layman termy. I'm sure there's someone out there that knows a lot more than me, and it's just like this is stupid. You could easily just do this or that, but this is what I'm gonna be doing. I don't. I just want to be able to take my Skywatcher Star Adventure out there, set up my auto guiding camera, start capturing, and dither. I'm at a point where walking noise is starting to really affect my photos, so I need dithering, and I don't want to deal with Asler Pro or like APT. It's just something else to learn, just something else to add to the never-ending kit of like equipment and software you need to do this like hobby like easily. So I just wanted to be able to send dither commands real easy and control them more manually. I might make it more automatic in the future, but I think I just want to give a way for very entry level hobbyists to access dithering without the intimidation of all this extra software and connecting it to your camera and making your camera controlled through it and that sort of thing. I saw some. I happened upon this page while trying to find like a simple dithering solution because that's what I want to do. I don't want to buy anything else, like I said. This page shows basically that PHP2 has a server where you can send TCP commands to port 4300, and then you'll send these commands to it, and they will like do things like pause, resume, and dither by a certain vector. So I thought, why don't I try and make that happen? First thing I want to do is gonna set up PHP2 to run on a simulator because I don't feel like doing this outside and waiting for clouds to get out of my way and stuff. So I'm just going to connect the simulator, connect it just like we would normally. You'll have to do dock frames on it probably. Make sure you set your profile to not override your current settings and stuff. I'm just going to set it to loop, and mine's already pre-calibrated to guide. So we got that going there. Next thing you need is a programming language. I don't feel like bothering with anything complex. I'm not a programmer by nature. I tinker a little bit. I've messed with some Arduinos, but that's about it. For just this simple task, I would recommend just a simple scripting, like macro language, and I'm going to use autoit for that. You should see a symbol that looks like this. When you type into Google, you just Google autoit macro. When you install it, you should come up like this. This is my proto form. It's just some stuff I use regularly. I'm just going to do a new script so none of that confuses you. I'll be adding my script into that sort of like automation and more like awareness later. But for the purpose of this, we're just going to be doing just a real easy script that you would maybe like align with like your intervalometer or do it manually even so that you don't have to touch your mount and like throw everything off. So once you get autoit installed, let me go ahead and bring up this little Wikipedia page about it. So, let's combine these. There we go. So, let's see here. A lot of information on this page. A whole giant example of like how to use it in every way. But basically, it's a TCP service, meaning we can theoretically send messages to the PHP2 through this. And this is pretty intimidating looking. But a few things we'll need is this IP address, and you can just type this. So if you put a semicolon there, it comments it out so it doesn't get like incorporated into the code. So we got that, and this is GUI stuff, so we don't need that. Should be around here somewhere. TCP listen, but declared somewhere. Yeah, right here. So here it starts up the service, which is what we'll be using. So it needs to start. So do that, and then this programming language. It's not really, like I said, it's more of a scripting language. So it's it's calling a bunch of other stuff in Windows to do things. And so we're just going to add this delay command. We're going to make it to delay for a second, just so that this has time to do whatever it's got to do. Since it's external, it's not going to like do that and then this. It's going to just do it and then move on to the next step in itself. And so it might not give it enough time to start up. All right, so that's the sleep right there. So then we're going to go back to this page and search for connects. So here's where it establishes a connection. They have a bunch of error checking and stuff. Checks for errors and interacts with the GUI, it looks like. We don't need any of that. We just need to connect to it. So we're just going to take that. Let's slap that in after we've connected. After we start up the service, we're then going to invoke it. This is an object you use to interact with. So this is it declaring it, and this is the actual name of the object. You need a $sign, and then I'm just going to call it PHD2 because for our purposes, we're talking to PHD2. So we're connecting. So we want to connect to our local machine. The address of that mailbox to talk to yourself is this. So we're just going to use that. And I think it needs a string, so you put these double quotation marks around it. The port we've already seen is 4300. Ports are kind of weird and confusing maybe, but just think of it like the address of the mailbox. And this is like the town. I mean, it's different, but that's pretty much the protocol, like how it talks to that mailbox. So, all right, so we should be able to connect now, and if it connects and it starts up, there's probably a shutdown, so it's probably good to... So, this is the wrong page. There it is, yeah, so shuts down the service. And we want to see if it actually did anything, so we need a sleep in between. And I don't know how long it takes to make this connection, so I'm just going to do that. So then we're going to name it. So I'm going to put this on my desktop as dither symbol. I'm going to save that. And so now that it's saved, I can compile it. So wherever you had this AUE file is where it's going to slap the .exe for it. So that's on my desktop. And give me a second, let me just find it. Alright, yeah, here it is on my desktop. And then it made this. Now your antivirus is probably going to eat it and kick a fit about it pretty much. But you'll have to find your own way to make it not do that to this file type. I'm just going to make a shortcut because every time I compile it, it's going to throw it onto my other monitor. So I'm just going to move it out of the way to not confuse us. And then I'm going to rename this so it looks less ridiculous. Alright, so now we've got it compiling. So I think I missed some steps, so I just want to show you again. Compile, and then mine brings up this window. Not all of them do, but it's going to compile. It's going to say down here it's doing something, and then it's going to say basically that it did it, and it took 9 seconds. Okay, so now we've compiled it. We can open up PHP2 here on this side. This is a little message center where you're going to see what it's doing. So if it works, we should see something down here. So we're going to run it, and I think I have nothing. Let me run it again. Oh, there it goes. My firewall was blocking it, so I'm going to run it again because it probably timed out. There we go. And so we've got a connection. So we're connecting to it now that my firewall's out of the way. So if you're not connecting, your firewall might be in the way. I just had to add an exception, and time passed, and it looks like it dropped it. All right, so that is now connecting. So now we need to send a command. So the commands go by these values here. So I'd like to go ahead and send a pause because I've never seen that because I don't know where the button is for it. And what we need is a hexadecimal chart. All right, here's a proper chart. So here's our like regular numeric value. So 0, it's going, well, this doesn't have a 0. So 1 and 2 are what we want to send to pause and resume. You can ignore octal and just go to hexadecimal. It uses 0x format. So we want 0x01 and 0x02 as all value. And if we go to this, we can see where they send data. It should be right around connection. Here we go. Sending data. So we just copy this out. We want to put it after we've connected. Oops. And so we want to put another delay down here. Well, we can do that in a minute. So this is sending data. And we want to send 0x01 to pause it. Sending the pause command to PhD2. And then, oh, we gotta make sure it's specifying our PhD2. And I'm just gonna make a duplicate of that to unpause it, to resume. And I'm gonna call that, I'm gonna make sure that command is set to 2. And then I'm gonna let it run for about 3 seconds. And we probably don't need 3 seconds to connect, so I'm gonna drop that down. And I'm just gonna go ahead and compile that. And it's compiling and it takes a while. So once it's done compiling, we should be able to run this. And we should see it connect. Now paused, and should be about 3 seconds. We should see it unpaused, then resumed, great. And then we're gonna see it go back to guiding, I think after it's lost connection to it. And we can just, okay, we can now send commands very simply through this simple script to it. I'm gonna get rid of this redundant one. I'm gonna go ahead and change it to a guide pulse. Not guide pulse, a dithering command. So let's make it do 5 times dither scale, so that's 13. So referencing our table, the value 13 is 0x0d. So we can just copy that really. And we can just paste it right in there. And we can go ahead and compile this again. And it's compiling. We can close that. And we can go ahead and run it. I'm going to get connection to server. Oh, dither by 10. So it's 5 times my dither scale. So if I knew where my settings were for it, I'd imagine my dither scale is but 2, right? Alright, so that works. So basically the way you would use this is you'd be outside, you let it run for a certain number of images or whatever. I think they recommend dithering every image, but say this is as far as you want to go, you want to just use this for a little bit, you can take this simple script, real simple, and just go ahead and compile it and run it, put it on your laptop, whatever you're doing guiding with, if it's Windows 10, and then say you're doing like 2-minute exposures, you could do like 8 exposures and then come out, set a timer every time, just come out and just have your intervalometer pause or whatever, come out, run the dither script, it'll run, it'll connect to the server, it'll dither, it'll move the star, and then it'll put that star back in, it'll make your pixels shift over on your camera sensor so the light's falling in a slightly different spot, so the noise will be like averaged out and gotten rid of through that process, and should help eliminate some of your walking noise just from this simple script. You don't have to touch your mount, anything like that. I plan to make a new video after this, maybe like an episode 2, to further expand what we can do with this program in this scripting language. It would be nice to make it a little more knowledgeable of what's happening, and basically I want to see what happens when you use this get status, because it looks like we can actually get back some data from PHD2 and know when it's done when it's done dithering, basically, and everything's settled, and we can go ahead and start taking the photo again, and maybe save some time and have it alert us that, you know, you can continue exposing again, or what have you. So yeah, I hope this makes dithering a lot less intimidating, and hope you can go ahead and get back to getting some photos without that walking noise. Thanks.